Today we're going to clean a commercial building, and it's going to have 4,000 square feet of CGD carpet. That's commercial glue down. And most of us know that commercial glue down is very difficult to clean because it's not maintained correctly, and you run into all kinds of wicking issues. So many people have resorted to encapsulation. However, today I'm going to show you a new machine called the HydroForce CX15. And what that does, it takes hot water extraction to a whole different level. I'll go ahead and show that to you right now. Okay, this is the HydroForce CX15. Now you notice it basically looks like a lightweight rotary. However, it's kind of a cross between a tile cleaner and a rotary machine. However, it's a whole lot less weight. It's only 20 pounds versus a lot of rotaries weigh 60 to 80 pounds. Also, the way it's designed, and it captures all the heat on the inside. It has 4,000 passes per minute, which is crazy. And it claims from its website, I'm looking at it right here, it says it's half the price of a rotary. It's lightweight, traps heat, and cleans all four sides of the fiber. However, they make an important point here I want to point out, and that is the spray bars. There's two of them. One of them is stamped R for residential, and one of them is stamped C for commercial. And of course, that's what we'll be using today. All right, now you notice I've got several other machines set up around here. I've got a Brush Pro, which we're going to use to go ahead and do all the vacuuming with and pre-scrubbing of the carpets. When we use the hot water extraction, we're going to use it with and without pre-scrubbing. We're also going to use the Cymex in comparison to it for using encapsulation. We're going to vacuum, of course, first. And then we've got our chemistry over here. For our encapsulation, we've got our Encap Pro Triple Strength by TMF. We've got our Pure Oxide to try to brighten it up just a little bit. Then we've got some Super Gel, which is an encapsulation spotter. Also works for hot water extraction too, and Pig Out, the same thing. All right, now make sure when you go to put in your preload or any pre-spray that you use. However, preload is becoming one of the fastest selling pre-sprays on the market. I feel like it's the best ever made. We work with two different chemists to really fine-tune the best product on the market. All right, preload 5, however, what you want to do when you're mixing up powders, make sure you go ahead and get yourself a nice little bottleneck funnel and go ahead and put it inside there. Get the water hot as possible and get the cleaning. Okay, now when it comes to cleaning the CGD carpet, you notice I've got 3 different methods set up here. I've got the hot water extraction with the CX15. I've got encapsulation with the Cymex machine, which is a Planetary machine. And then I've got a Brush Pro style CRB machine over here, which is also used for encapsulation. Let's get a closer look and also a closer look at the chemistry before I get started. Notice I got 3 lanes set up, so you can compare all three. All of them work great. However, you might want to examine each one of them and see which one would be your tool or weapon of choice when it comes to CGD. Remember this too, CGD has an affinity for oil. Most of the time it's olefin, or it's a nylon, or especially a polyester. With that affinity for oil, they want to hold on to oily substances. When you've got commercial businesses with a lot of traffic and a little bit of maintenance, you've got a problematic carpet. That's why you've got to really take the time to use the proper chemistry and the proper equipment. And that's what I'm going to help you with today. Take a look. Starting off with the CRB, or the counter-rotating brush unit, you notice I put in the black brushes. They're more stiff, they're more aggressive, and they'll help dig out the dirt and the sand out of the bottom of this carpet. And like I mentioned earlier, maintenance procedures on commercial carpet are usually pretty bad compared to the traffic that comes in. Now, you want to make sure you vacuum. However, regardless of which method you use, I really like to have a CRB on hand with the dust collectors. Attach it, go ahead and do that first before you vacuum. Then vacuum real thoroughly. After you vacuum, go ahead and mix up your product. Of course, I like to use Encap Pro Triple Strength, 2 to 4 ounces. Just for demonstration purposes, I've got in a half gallon sprayer just to spray this lane right here with. All right, also I like to put in a little bit of peroxide sometimes just to go ahead and brighten it. And you've got your spotters, which is the Pig Out and the Super Gel. Both of them are encapsulating spotters, so you can use it. You don't have to worry about wicking or nothing of that nature. That's always the plus of encapsulation in the first place. All right, well, that being said, just remember also, if you've got to keep some air movers on hand, regardless of which method you use again. The reason being is, if you get the carpets as dry as possible or dry before you even leave, which is easy to do with encapsulation in the new CX15, you will see the final result, and you don't have to worry about wicking or nothing of that nature. All right, let's go and move on to the next method. Now we're going to deal with a Planetary machine. And remember, you can use a rotary machine, you can use an OP machine, oscillating machine, you can use any type of machine as long as you've got the right pads on there and you've got something that has a shower feed, or you're going to have to spray ahead of yourself like you do with the Cymex depending on the type of unit that you choose. However, I like to use the gray pads. They're pretty aggressive. They come with tan pads also. The problem with the gray pads, if you leave them sit still and the machine running, you can actually burn the carpet. So make sure that you've always got it well lubricated, you've got the product feeding down, or you've got something on the carpet already, and go ahead and get the cleaning. However, with this, you can have a much more aggressive cleaning, especially on a rat nasty building like this right here. Now, of course, again, my chemical of choice is going to be the Encap Pro by TMF, our product, and also a little bit of pure oxide, 2 to 4 ounces per gallon, depending on how soiled it really is. And also make sure you've got some spotters on hand like Pig Out or Super Gel, which are encapsulating spotters. Okay, that covers the Planetary machine. Let's move on now to the hot water extraction machine. Now for the hot water extraction unit, we're going to go ahead and use a truck mount. The truck mount that I have is a 5.9 blower machine with a 60 horsepower engine. Of course, it's modified a little bit. Regardless though, any truck mount will suffice as long as you can get the proper pressure with the unit, okay? This is a CX15, as I mentioned earlier on in the video there. I showed you some of the features. In this pass right here, we're going to use it for hot water extraction. Now, my chemistry of choice is going to be a high pH product similar to Preload 5. This is great for residential, and it's also great for commercial carpet also. The spotters will remain the same. Now, if you haven't gotten a free sample, make sure you contact us. Go to Truck Mount Forums, contact me, you get a free sample of the Preload 5, 16 ounces, you put it into your HydroForce, shake it up, and I guarantee you're going to have a fantastic product. So much so that's why I give it to you for free. Also, if you ask, I'll send you the hottest selling tile and grout cleaner on the market, which is Tile Master for the last 3 years. I'll throw this in and a sample of that and no charge, and I guarantee you'll love it. All right, well that covers it for the hot water extraction. This pass right here, let's get started and let's see what they can do. All right, notice I'm using the counter rotating brush. This not only digs up deep soil, but it also raises the nap and enables a more thorough cleaning. The majority of soil, up to 70 to 80%, is dry particulate matter, so it's important to loosen and get as much out as possible before cleaning. Remember, it's easier to remove dry soil than to remove mud. Make sure you have a good vacuum cleaner on hand to follow up after the CRB. I like to pre-spot before I pre-spray. This allows the product to penetrate and dwell for the maximum amount of time. This eliminates the need for post-spotting, saving you a lot of time. Now I begin to pre-spray. Normally I would use a 5-gallon electric sprayer with wheels to speed up the process. Apply a nice even coat, then start cleaning with the CRB. I like to overlap my strokes. Some choose to leave the dust collectors off. I prefer to leave them on. After all the cleaning steps are done, I like to take the time and set my air mover. Moving on to the Planetary machine, notice I add my encapsulant after I fill the tank with water. This avoids unnecessary foaming and overfilling. Again, I start with the CRB to break loose dry soil, and then following up with vacuuming. Pre-vacuuming is so important yet so often overlooked and underutilized. I cannot stress enough how important this step is. Then, again, I pre-spot before cleaning. You can use a brush, or you can do the Nike Shuffle as I see some cleaners do. If you choose the Nike Shuffle, make sure you don't track soil in on your feet after you walk outside. Shoe covers are always recommended when doing a full cleaning. Now, one note I'd like to make is that, just like with hot water extraction, I like to do 2 dry strokes to every wet stroke. The Planetary machine I have has many years on it, and yet it still runs great. Ideally, you should follow up with vacuuming when the carpets are dry. Just make sure that you do your dry strokes after you do your wet strokes. Then afterwards, apply your air mover, and after that, we'll move on to our final step, hot water extraction. First off, I want to say that the video did not capture how dirty this carpet really was. Also, the prior steps, pre-agitating with the CRB and vacuuming, allowed the chemical to improve the look almost immediately. For spotting, I prefer paint, ink, and grease remover for hot water extraction. I like to pre-spray evenly and thoroughly. After that, I'll pre-agitate with the CRB and move on to cleaning or rinsing. Okay, a few things about the CX15. First off, I was amazed how easy it is to use, and especially how efficient it is. It really works quickly. It is recommended to use 400 to 800 psi, but I use 500. It cleaned great, and you can imagine how well it cleans at 800 psi. Virtually no spotting or soil was left behind. I loved how it kept the heat in. This thing really surprised me and is a must for all my hot water extraction applications now. Lastly, for a rinse, I recommend using TMF Power Rinse. It has some encapsulate and adds an extra punch of power to the cleaning process. Notice the clear sight tube. I love this feature, as you can see when the carpet is thoroughly rinsed and cleaned. After that, I set my air movers again. As a side note, stay tuned to the end of this video for some cool before and afters. Alright, now you can see all three areas that we cleaned on this CGD carpet. You notice that the area here we did with the counter rotating brush, it looks a little darker. However, it's still a little bit damp, but on top of it, remember, it raised the nap up a little bit, so it's going to give it a little bit of a darker look. However, it definitely doesn't look the best. Second best area is definitely the Planetary machine. The reason I say it's the second best because they both look as bright between the CX15 and the Planetary. The difference is the Planetary doesn't have the aggressiveness to really get the stains out, where this method over here, it drives all the dirt right out of it, so it did a great job. So overall, I'm going to have to give the edge to the CX15, and how much easier is it just to grab that along with your truck mount, or if you got a high-powered portable, and go ahead and use that now for CGD carpet, where it used to be you had to use a encapsulating machine to really get the best results out of it. Now you can move to something like this. Now, I also want to mention that there's other models on the market. There's some rotaries that come out on the market now. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the HydroMaster, the Mighty, the Rotovac. All of those now have CGD heads on them, so they can clean well also. So in my next video, what I'm going to do is take the rotary machines and figure out which rotary machine cleans CGD the best. Well, go ahead and stay tuned to it. I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully now you know how to clean CGD carpet. Have a great day.